Welcome everybody. Do we have anyone called in? Is my first question. Oh, we have John. I want to welcome everybody to the March 23rd, 2023 Public Arts Commission meeting. And I apologize if I sound a little muffled. I have to talk through this mask. Before we get going into our agenda, I will ask John to establish a quorum. John, now that you are here.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. So we actually don't have to do a roll call anymore because since we're meeting in person, we don't have to do roll call unless a member is teleconferencing. Okay. And as of now, commissioners are not allowed to teleconference. So
I apologize. You'll need to remind me next time too.
That's okay. That's quite all right. So we can establish quorum simply by looking around the room and saying we have four of our six commissioners.
Okay. And before we start, I just want to say welcome to everyone here because this is the first time we met in person. John and I are the only ones who've ever done this, and you can see how exciting it is. And the different format that we used to prior to COVID. So sorry, I have to look up here and I have to look down and trying to get used to it. All right, let's hop on to the agenda here. We're going to start with public comments on items not on the agenda. Do we have, John, do we have anyone from public?
No one from the public online.
Okay, we do have someone from the public. Do you have any comments on any items not on the agenda? Okay. First item, do we want to approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting all the way back from February 23rd, 2023? Do I hear a motion?
Sure, I move to approve the minutes from February 23rd, 2023.
John?
Okay, here's the other great part. Because we are meeting in person, you can ask all in favor and then say anyone opposed, and we'll do it by voice vote.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right.
Now, if council chooses to allow commissioners to teleconference, then, and we do have a commissioner teleconferencing, we will have to do a roll call.
Okay, perfect. And again, remind me next time.
Yep, I will make sure we're, yes.
Before we go on to item number 2, Community Pop-Up Art Project, do we have any comments from the public? Good. Okay. Item number 2, Community Pop-Up Art Project. Receive an update on the Community Pop-Up Art. That's quite a tongue twister. Community Pop-Up Art Project. An update. I think the last update was, John, you had the email that said.
Yeah. Well, so we, the last meeting, the commission appointed a subcommittee, SM. I believe there's been some communication, so maybe I'll turn it over to them to provide an update, if they would like.
Okay, so after John got the definitive decision from the city attorney, or recommendation from the city attorney, to have everything done, to have releases one, and to have them beforehand, then that puts a slightly different complexion on the execution of the project. So then the challenge became, how do we get releases? And I sent an update to the subcommittee where I said, well, okay, I know some people, but a lot of them I do not. And there are several things to do. I proposed that I put up a virtual show of the images selected and just basically broadcast to the world, hey, if you recognize yourself, this is the contact, and we will send you through either paper or e-sign, electronic signature, a model release if you are so inclined. And the question would be the different types of outreach we can do, and also what is the likelihood that we will get enough releases by a certain time to cope with the production, which has to take place because Mother's Day doesn't move, unfortunately. So, my recommendation would be to have a minimum of 20 to 25 to have critical mass. We are, as a reminder, we are placing this into the planters around downtown. So even if we just take one crossing, but that might take 8. So we do 2, 3. So that's the minimum. And so I have picked out about 60, so that we can see what we get.
So are these 60 pictures you've already taken?
Yes. And then of which some of them, I know who the people are, including one of, I think it's a former mayor, right? Former mayor, Fliger?
So she's, well, she's a former mayor, but current council.
Right, yeah. So, so there's that component. We would, I could post onto Nextdoor because this would be under my own aegis. So there is no issue with posting it online. And as an exhibit, it falls under fine art, not editorial, fine art. I misspoke last time. And there would be no issue with putting it up and having people look at it and grant us a release if they see us. And then there are some photos are from events where I know the organizer. And so we might be able to cobble something together. We can see if the town crier would be able to give us some publicity, and then anything else that the commission and the subcommittee can think of in terms of how to reach out to different folks, to get in touch with people. John, do you have the revised schedule handily available to project?
Maybe. Let me look.
So I had put up a straw man proposal for the schedule first go around. And with the new news, then I updated it to sort of say, all right, how much time do we really need to make everything, make the trains run on time? So exactly.
When you said an e-filing or an e-signature on a release form, I assume that's a release form that the city is going to provide to you, is that correct?
I hope so, but I have standard ones that photographers use all the time. Because what they usually like to do is also append the appropriate images to it. So in the paper world, they can't, and the electronic world, it's a thumbnail.
If this is a project that's kind of sponsored by the Arts Commission, does the release need to go through Joey or no, the attorney?
I mean, probably, but my guess is that the standard waiver is going to be fine. Yeah, we
can
have,
send a sample.
yeah, and we have photo waivers that the city
And
uses.
stuff like that, okay.
So that won't be a problem.
So basically, is it possible to dim some lights? I think, or can everyone see this? I chose some pretty pale colors.
John can do anything.
We just have to ask nicely. So this should have gone to the subcommittee. I apologize if I messed up. But basically, so the top items are things like preliminary image selection, reaching out to the Los Altos Village Association, and I did that. And Scott said if the city art commission is okay with it, they would in turn reach out. So, but I don't think at this point we will have enough images, but I touched base with Scott anyway. And then the city attorney made a determination of what is necessary. And so we are at the top line purple dot commission meeting right now. So we're trying to sort of figure out what all needs to be done with the release process. Do we need a standard release? Do we need a city release or a standard release will do? And how to make the e-signing, the electronic signing work. So a lot of that public outreach also. So these are the purple blocks under 319. Sorry, I forgot to bring a pointer. Can you point? Oh, thank you.
Someone's here?
You can do everything. So we're at the 319 week and 329. And if we start the publicity by 326, at the end of 2 weeks, there's probably should be a checkpoint. If we get 0 releases come back to us, then we probably should say, okay, this isn't looking so good. And then a final checkpoint by the beginning of the week of April 23rd, from the point of view of production time. And there's a next page to this.
Want to use that one?
Sorry, I'm late. No problem. Oh, thanks.
So the checkpoint would be at the beginning of the week, April 23rd. And if everything is good, then there's conveniently a commission meeting, come back, get the blessing, and then sign off on the production. So basically, this is sort of running through some of the steps that's necessary. And the question is coordination with the city departments, because I'm sure the maintenance people would like a heads up on if I'm going to stick anything in there. And then, so the question, I apologize, this is fallen off, but it's about a couple of weeks, I think. I'm sorry, it goes to the next page. It's a couple of weeks enough for getting agreement with the city, the appropriate city department. And that's something I don't know, so I just said, is this enough time, and left it at that.
Probably a question for John.
Yeah, I think it is. And actually, what I would suggest is you're already talking with Scott Hunter.
Yes.
Yeah, continue talking with him because the Village Association actually maintains many of the planters downtown. And so coordinating with him will be key.
Right.
But 2 weeks will be enough time.
Okay.
For the city.
Yeah, I think mainly what I will be deploying would be the city ones with the plumbing inside.
Okay, yeah, and those are still maintained, even those ones are maintained by the Village Association.
Oh dear, okay. That was not what I understood last year, but last year was last year. But because at the time I was told the city had concerns about it weighs too much, it will damage the plumbing. And actually, while I'm on the topic, has everyone had a chance to see a sample of what these would look like? And I can probably take it so it doesn't clutter up your office anymore. Well, they're on these spiky wire legs, so it's not like you can avoid it. It will stick you if you're not careful, just like kitty cat.
So we're kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for the city attorney to bless either a standard contract, release contract, or something from the city. If you think that you're not going to get enough signed releases one way or another, could you go out and take more photos? Where there's hopefully a little bit better, people will be out and about, and then you'll take photos and maybe you can hand them a card and say, we're thinking of using it for a project, we'll need a release, please go to this website. Could you, I don't want to put more work on you, but that might be a faster way to get people excited and, parents willing to sign a release form.
Probably not enough time, especially since I'm going to be overseas for about 10 days in April.
Okay.
In the signature gathering phase where I can do it remotely, but I can't do the photography. So
we might want to then think about, it'd be great if this was up by Mother's Day, because Mother's Day and Father's Day are the month, right?
Mhm.
Maybe continuously pushing the date back a month. June?
We could, I guess, in the interest of equality, it seems to be a little awkward to hit Father's Day, but not Mother's Day, especially since I think there's a healthy number. Lucy was looking at some of the images earlier. There was a healthy number of moms, and so it's so that's the only concern is, you know.
If we say that it has to be by Mother's Day, then we'd have to wait till probably next year.
Right.
So if we'd like to try and launch this as a pop-up, maybe we won't, maybe, you know, we hope that everything's done by Mother's Day, but perhaps knowing that maybe we'll have to move it to June and we'll figure out some fancy name to give it and just try running with it and see how it
Yes.
happens.
I think we'll just have to cross that bridge when we come to it. So this is. I think what this is what it looks like. Hope I don't skew it.
Don't scare Terry, please.
You want to get this thing out first? Obviously, it would be lovely if it coincided with Mother's Day and Father's Day, but I think parents would appreciate being appreciated at any time. Like, I don't think that it matters. Do you? I mean,
I think getting something out there.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say that this could be our first pop-up in downtown and maybe we do other pop-ups in the future, so.
but I agree with Monica that like, it might be more like strategic to take the photo and then immediately be like, hey, this is for this project in downtown Los Altos, would you be willing to you volunteer your photo? Versus like people, like I'm thinking like, how do we incentivize people to like go online, search to see if their photo's there, and then give us permission? You know, I just don't know why. I worry that people wouldn't do it,
Yes.
you know?
My challenge with that is, a lot of times I'm shooting from quite far away to get to the person, and it's not like a studio situation. Street is not like a studio situation where you pose them, you hand them. This you sort of wait around and go, oh, I want that. So the hit rate tends to be quite a bit lower. And unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town for the Easter egg hunt on the 8th. That provided some good shots for us in the past, including that very charming little girl that Dad threw over his shoulders. Although that one, that one was from a long time ago, and I may still be in touch. But anyway, so it's a little bit up in the air. But if it has to flow into next year, then I would actually suggest to the commission to do it as part of a call for art. Because then you don't have any release problems. You just have people submit their own. Now, of course, when you do that, I apologize for not sounding very polite or political, but sometimes you don't get very good images. I mean, I can help with the photoshopping aspect, and it's amazing what you can do for improving things, but
What if we have an event in July. What if we have it coincide with our events that we put on that are like pretty family driven, you know? And then you can pass out the flyer to all the participants, or the waiver to all the participants who come. And so they'll be aware, and then you could just kind of catch them in these candid
I like
moments.
that idea.
I mean, you have a,
It's gonna be later than mothers and fathers, but
But that's
it'll be
okay.
easier to get the.
yeah,
But maybe we set it up for maybe August when the kids are back in school, that we decorate. the
parents who survived summer, that's huge. You survived in school, let's celebrate, yeah.
The advertising too.
Yeah.
So it's not just the art, also come get your.
And they're painting flower pots.
Oh, yeah.
Good work. It all ties together.
We don't love it.
Okay.
I love the opportunities.
Okay.
You have photos that you already,
No, it's just the hit rate is it can be very low depending on the event. A lot of times I can get a good shot of the child doing something interesting, or the parent doing something interesting.
Maybe one shot after in the one event.
Better than that, but it's the interaction.
Yeah.
So out of this 60 here, I have oh, easily 600 backing up. A lot of these have been shot over since about 2017, because I've been going to events and shooting and so forth. So I would love to give it a try, but I can't promise that it's going to work in terms of the.
Well, I'm thinking there's a couple events coming up. I'm sure Parks and Rec, other than their Easter egg hunt, the Parks and Rec in general and the Parks and Rec Commission have events. The farmer's market's about to open, and kids, they always have, you know, the balloon person or something. There's a bunch of events that perhaps, you know, if you're able to, you know, get one or two good shots at each event, might. I'm just thinking, because something, you know, a picture from 2017, you know, posting on Nextdoor, go look. If it's me, I'm not gonna page through 600 photos looking to see if it's a photo of me.
So what I would do is list the events for which I have photos. And then the other thing is, my practice has always been to give the pictures to the subject. And I would, as part of the invite, say, you know, give a little incentive. And yes, if we get this into print as a show, then at the end of the show, you get your own picture back. And hopefully that will encourage people to look a little more.
You look like you're gonna say.
I was thinking of, you know, the guys that are on the street corners that have a sandwich box on them and it says something. I was thinking if you had that sandwich box when you're out there that says, I'm taking photos for a specific thing, would you sign my waiver? It might be hard because you have your cameras and stuff, but.
Or put up a triangle.
Yeah, right.
Well, typically these events do have actually group releases that say by attending whatever you agree, but I don't know that that was something we took up with the city attorney. Because the History Museum tells me that they actually have group waivers. And I know at one of the events, they actually broadcast, it was an Easter egg event, actually broadcast that. And by being in this event, you are consenting to having your picture taken. But, you know, is it documented legally? No. So it's kind of a little iffy, but certainly if the city attorney feels that that would be appropriate, then that would, because we do have the pet parade coming up. That's usually a big event. And, you know, the farmers markets,
The first Fridays it's gonna be light out later, so maybe you can get some shots of the first Friday.
those Fridays typically don't have as many children. So
Actually, there are a lot of kids at First Friday, and they're dancing and they're having fun, especially like
I take it back,
right here, because we always bring our kids, yeah. And you could get some really cute shots, because they have like hula hoops and the parents are
Yes.
dancing and right out front of
I do have a very significant, again, it's the challenge of the parent and the child interacting. There are many fantastic photographs, you're right. It's the combination. I think I have one from there where the mom is holding the daughter and she's doing a dip, you know, so the daughter's head's down. And so that was kind of fun. So yeah, there are.
The Cartier Broussard, you know, capturing the moment, right? The perfect moment, and that just because you have an event doesn't mean you actually capture the moment in a photo. So
Right.
that's the worst part.
Yes, unfortunately, it's
trying to think of opportunities where families typically like congregate, right?
Right.
So,
there are many, and it's sort of just a matter of what happened was I've been taking the photos and I noticed I do gravitate to the interaction images, and then you know, you sort of start seeing of all the events, you start seeing this unifying theme running through it. Then I have another one called Falling in Love, and it sort of goes from little kids all the way to seniors, of the same idea, but in different events.
So should we wrap this up by saying you'll work to see if you can get the city attorney to give you direction as far as the release goes? John, would we, as a commission, once that's done, need to give her permission that she can advertise on Nextdoor or other venues to see if she can get some releases signed? and then we'll meet next month and see where we are.
I don't know that we need to give, the commission needs to give direction that, to do that part.
She's the artist, let her run with it, sort of thing.
And it seems like she's already got some photos. If she gets releases for the photos that she's already taken, then great. I don't see a need to have commission provide that direction. We also have the subcommittee who can continue to work with SM and hammer out details and
Okay, and you said you're gonna be overseas next month. Will it coincide with our next meeting?
No.
Okay.
Tentative schedule is from April 1st to April 10th.
Okay.
So it is sort of squeezed in very
Beginning
well.
of the month.
Yes. Well, I thought it would be fun to travel on April Fool's Day.
Okay.
But the posting to Nextdoor would be, hey, this is who I am. I'm putting together a virtual show. I would really love to do it for the city, but in order for us to do it for the city, I need releases. So it's sort of very clear, this is my virtual show. And if we get the permission, then we can, the city would be willing to host it physically. So it sort of draws a clean line between the city's responsibilities and mine. So I think that would probably be okay.
Write up a blurb for the city manager's weekly update to encourage people who receive it that, the Public Arts Commission is working in conjunction.
I'm not allowed to do that just yet. Because I could see an argument of, well, the city's doing it already and you posted my photos as online. And so I think leaving it at SM, she's got the protection of being in, the photographer in the public space. And once you start dragging the city into it, then it becomes slow and more likely that somebody says, hey, you put that on my picture online, right? So, but I think, saying, if I can get enough photo releases, then the city, I have this opportunity to display in partnership with the city and.
I have a question with these pictures and these. It's going to be many pictures then. I was thinking it would be one big one, but no, it's going to be little ones, right? Or how are we presenting it?
This is just a sample of the material that the physical material I would use and the framing, just to reassure the city people that no, I'm not going to put 30 tons on a irrigation pipe. It's very
It's also
lightweight.
waterproof, correct?
Waterproof. This is standard yard sign that you see like vote for so and so.
So you're going to put quite a few together.
No, I would put one or two,
Oh, okay.
depending on, I would use a smaller piece of.
Okay, that makes sense then, because this is too many, I thought, right?
That's up to the artist.
That is up to
I
the
was thinking if
artist.
I made the cut. I saw blonde hair. Like,
And I have the selection on the laptop running as a slideshow, so if afterwards people would like to take a look, and I hate this, that one looks better, that would be, initially I was hoping the subcommittee would help with the selection process, but sadly, if we have to catch releases, then that really limits our field
And going back to what John said, you as the artist,
Correct.
other than maybe if there's one that the Arts Commission feels like it's, not appropriate. But otherwise, you as the artist probably should be the one selecting it.
Well, when the numbers are high, it's like, who's your favorite child? And,
I have one.
kids. So diplomacy is very important. But, so the selection could really do with help when there's a very large number, because flip side is you have to consider production costs and
So I'm gonna hope that that is the problem that we encounter, that we have so many releases. So, and if that is the case, I'm gonna hope that the subcommittee will help. So we're gonna keep our fingers crossed.
right, yes, I hope so too. And we'll see, but the thinking is, perhaps to do a checkpoint.
Okay, so we'll do a checkpoint next meeting and you'll continue to keep the subcommittee.
Right.
And John,
Yes.
any other
I was just
questions?
gonna say thank you. Really
This
kind
is
of
gonna be
you.
awesome
Really nice.
whenever it happens, it will be awesome.
Yeah.
It should be fun. I hope it'll be fun for everyone, because that's the whole point. Otherwise, if they just sit on my hard drive.
Photos of all of us and put them downtown.
You can use my kids. I'll just throw them around. Yeah.
Unfortunately, for a lot of parents with young children, that's the situation. So,
We'll just get all of Jenna and her family, that's all that's gonna be downtown.
right. Or, you know, somebody's going out to a picnic now, just sort of sneak behind, stand behind a tree and go click, click, click.
So we wanna thank you again for all this effort you're putting in, and when it does come together, we're not sure when, but it'll be wonderful, and you know, hopefully we'll see you next meeting as well.
Okay, I hope so too. I hope it'll be really fun for everyone. You know, and especially the town and everyone around town. So,
And you are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you want, but.
well, I'll stay because I would like everyone to have a chance to take a quick look at some of the images. And plus, it's very interesting for me because I don't usually get involved with city affairs. You know, I've been very amazed at the amount of work that it takes to place
Anything done.
around town.
All right, any other comments or questions? All right. So back to the agenda, Art Without Walls, before we go into this agenda item, any comments from the public? Yay,
Is there
no,
anybody online?
okay. So I think last, meeting, we were still looking for a spot for Vortex. Do we have an update? Picture in our packet.
Yeah, no, I know which one it is, this spiral one. We need to place it, we need to place it, yeah, and we were going to put it on First Street, but then the pad's not, the space isn't big enough, right? I thought we had, oh, I thought we decided on Third Street. Did we decide to?
The
Wait,
last
did we-
meeting, yeah, so the last
Yeah.
meeting, the
Instead of art
commission
sign?
has said to the subcommittee, find look for spots along Third Street.
Yeah, I thought that I thought we determined we were gonna put it where we originally decided to put art and then put art at the front to replace
Yeah, so
another.
the art sculpture is gonna go at First, or no,
Yeah.
First and Main.
Yeah,
But yeah, the
Yeah.
last meeting, the commission had said to the subcommittee, go and find a spot on Third Street.
oh, okay, could we not use that spot that we originally intended for? How does everyone feel about that spot that we originally intended for the
I
art?
think that spot was fine. I think
Yeah.
people were worried about the tree and I wasn't worried about the tree.
Yeah. I think it'd be nice to have some art there, it's kind of bare.
We still have the dancer on Second.
I know, it's still in the list to do. Yeah,
It's a long time.
yeah.
Yeah, the last meeting, John said that and Mother Hen were, on the list of things to be moved.
Yes.
But we could put something there or plan on, no?
Should we make a motion to put Vortex where art was originally supposed to go so that we can actually get the artist to start working on a schedule to place it?
A motion to install Vortex where we originally intended art to be on the corner on Third and,
I was getting Main Street.
what is that?
Next.
Is it State?
No, that's me.
No, it's Main. Oh, yeah, Main, sorry. Main and, yeah, in front of the salon. Yeah.
I'll second.
There's like a salon there. Salon. Yeah, so like a little alcove. And then we're intending for it to go there.
You know, bring up a picture, John.
The map.
Then we have something for the Third Street.
Yeah. We go.
I don't recall what color. I think it's,
It will be a rust color. The artist has been very excited in sending me updates on the crafting of the sculpture. Sent me a picture and said, it'll start to rust and it'll look great.
Oh.
Yeah. And isn't someone buying this building? So maybe it could be symbolic,
Yeah.
like who will have it?
Is this where it's gonna go?
Mhm.
And
That'll be perfect.
that'll be a big enough space for it too.
John, do you recall how tall this?
8.4 feet.
But it's
So it
on-
should be about as tall as,
Probably
yeah.
close to the roof line, yeah.
What's the building used for, or what, does it have a name?
Yeah, there's a salon. It's mostly vacant right now. This space is completely vacant.
and we'll worry about it if they do a
Is
facelift.
there enough traffic going there?
Oh, there's tons of traffic right there.
Okay.
There's a bank across the street.
And there's does the farmer's market, I think, no, it's on state, it's not on Main.
Well, everybody walks from Chase to the post office.
Okay.
That's basically what happens.
Busy area. It's a busy
You
area.
never find a parking space.
Right.
I never park there. I always park somewhere else and walk over.
Okay, so John, I made a second. Shall we, ask for all the yays and nays? You want me to do it?
Sure.
I thought you technically were
I
supposed to.
can, but it's, yeah, it's.
Traditional.
Okay,
Any
Lee, so
nays?
you ask all those in favor?
Yay.
Anybody opposed? So it passes.
Putting the thing there?
Yes.
Great. Okay. I wanted to be sure.
All right, so, that means we've decided on placement for all the pieces from our last call for art. And I assume, for, the informational items, you'll give us an update on what the status
Well, I
is.
can give you an update now. I've reached out to all the artists that had locations already picked. They're in various phases of scheduling. Some are a little more enthusiastic than others. But with the weather, it's been very, very hard to.
Maintenance people.
Get a phone call back.
Well, not necessarily that, but even to have the artists, the artists want to come out when it's not storming and there's power in the city and things like that. So it's, I would imagine starting next month and in May, we'll start to see these pieces go in. And of course, I'll let you all know when I do have them scheduled.
Okay. Anything else on Vortex or our last call?
I have a really quick question. The bubbles that was intended for outside of the arcade, something fell through with that, right?
I believe it's that one.
Yeah,
I think the artist had sold
yeah, okay.
the,
So that's the only one, yeah,
the sculpture.
yeah.
Yeah, so he had sold it.
Well, we usually pick a lot of them knowing that someone's either not gonna travel or they're gonna sell or something happens. We always have a couple fall throughs.
It's hard to fault an artist who sells a piece.
We want to put food on their table so they can continue to make art. Okay. Community center art agenda item 4. Do we have any comments from the public on agenda item 4? I see the public says no. All right. John, we had a call for art and I heard a rumor through email that we did not get many.
You didn't hear a rumor, you heard fact. We unfortunately received 2 entries. They both look really, really great.
We could put one on one wall, one on the
Can you
other.
extend it and try to really push for more?
I was gonna ask if we should extend,
I'm not surprised with the weather that we've had the last 3 weeks and everything else that's been
No
going on.
electricity and, yeah, it's been crazy.
these should be with crayons by candlelight making stuff, So, oh,
I'm sorry.
is it okay if the public has a comment?
Up to the chair.
Okay, was this a call for art to the public?
Yes.
So public never saw anything. Now public is not very tied into Facebook and some of the social media, but I didn't notice any calls.
So I think we need to, well, my suggestion is that we extend it by a month and, first we'll do it in the city manager's weekly update again. See if we can get something in the town prior, maybe push it to the school.
Question of the public. Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Can I just ask, like, where you usually get your information? Like, where would it best benefit us to advertise, do you think?
I am not.
Like physical flyers downtown or?
I'm not typical, probably. I'm a bit of a stick in the mud, but I do read the Crier religiously, both online and paper. And I will follow up anything within my small area on next door. I'm not really good with Facebook, but I expect most people are. I don't know about Instagram and TikTok. That's way beyond me.
I don't think that.
Okay. Yeah, once there's a flyer, something we could post on our next door. Do you have to be a Los Altos resident to do this?
I believe it was, let's pull up the, I should know this because I wrote the flyer in the entry.
I think it probably was, but.
I think it was. Or associated.
Flyers up at Rancho, at Grant Park.
It's usually, residents or go to.
Associated.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, work, live, or go to school.
On the next door thing, just say you have to be a resident or work here. Or
I
have
did send it to all the schools and no one.
Yeah, I think it's great.
John, can you bring up a calendar for next month? Let's see if we can figure out what the date should be, when I can change the entry date to, or the application deadline. I just know, like, am I allowed to pick up my phone and look at it?
Okay, so we are here.
Yes, we are.
So our next meeting would be
27th.
6/13, would be the 27th. So maybe making the entries due by the 21st.
Don't forget, there's gonna be a week off for spring break.
Okay, well, Easter is, I think,
The 9th.
the 9th, okay.
Yeah.
So saying it needs to be in by the 21st should give people some time? Or do we want to maybe make it, I want to also give John time to pull the packet together as well.
So spring break is this week spring break for Los Altos School District, which is the largest
Dominant.
group of the city, is this week. I can look up Cupertino.
We're the next week, or the following week.
Really?
It was this week, yeah.
They always are a different
Yeah.
week. Yeah, they try to break it up so Tahoe doesn't get ruined. That's how they came up with it.
I'm guessing MBLA is also this week, and then Fremont Union School District is this week, so you're just gonna have to pick a week and.
Let me ask this question. For the current show that is up, you've contacted people to come get their stuff, correct?
I don't think we've told them to come get it by a certain day.
Okay. Maybe being recorded, maybe we see if we can hold them off like a month so the walls are not bare.
I think if they're already in the site, we let them
Advertise
take.
on the walls with the flyer.
The public has a comment. Public.
Not to get overexposed. But one of the comments in a previous meeting was about inventory. And I have a big inventory problem. I've had 2 shows at the Los Altos Library over the years. And I have a stack of prints that I would be perfectly happy to provide to the city for use. Some of them are not children. One show was people, but one show was nature. So
That would be good, because all the conference rooms are named after, I think, trees and The only thing I would say, if we had you put something up for a month or two, is, it would be a change in what we've done in the past, because we haven't highlighted one artist.
Right.
And we've had a number of artists come to us and say, or groups saying, we'd love to put a show up. I used to be wedded to the idea of not doing that. I'm okay steering away from that, but it's not my decision. It would be a group decision, so.
It's just if it's a bare walls problem, because it's holding down a table and some floor in my house.
I do ceramics. I have like a house overflowing. I understand the problem.
At least my cats do less damage. than
No,
just ceramics.
no offense to anybody, but I'm fearful of letting one artist in without letting the other artist in.
Yeah,
I personally know people that have attended meetings that would be furious if we did that.
yeah, and that's.
I don't mind doing it, but I don't want to listen to all the other people who got mad that we did it.
I think we'd have to do a general call. They have, calls for like ideas for shows. I forgot what the terminology is, and people apply and say, our group, we're gonna put this kind of stuff up. So, I agree with Terry that it opens up a can of worms.
Don't put my name on it.
I can imagine.
No. Actually, not half, a selection of that show went to, Juvie. And it's just parked there, without my name. My neighbor was a judge. And when she saw the show, she said, "Oh, can I borrow some of these?" And I said, "Oh, can I give you
Put it up in the juvenile,
Santa Clara County Juvenile Court waiting room?" But I didn't really, I'm not a big one for putting my name on things. So it just went up and it was just very anonymous. And so they didn't have the issue.
So were we thinking, perhaps sending the applications or the call for art and, see if we can hold people off for a month so those walls aren't bare? Maybe putting a flyer up, for the new show, because I get the impression that the Park and Rec folks don't want those walls bare either. They like having
Do like
something.
a coming soon. Create some allure, like, ooh, and then
Do we have a
submit
theme?
your,
I'm sorry?
Do we have a theme for that?
Yes.
I was gonna recommend, extending it for a month. I would say entries due the 21st of April. I think that'll be fine. Obviously, part of the city will be on spring break, so they can get it in earlier, and then the part that's on spring break that week can get it in the week after. I will hold off on letting people or having people come pick up their pieces. If they contact me, I'll say, hey, we're hoping we can keep them up for another couple of weeks. One thought that I also had was if the extension isn't successful and we want to rotate out, we could always reach out to the History Museum. They have a large selection of artwork that is owned by the city. And so we could, put up some pieces from that as well, so.
All right, so we'll cross that bridge when it
can
happens.
we have some flyers printed out? I don't have a printer. Can we, and then I can pick them up and I can
Yeah.
plaster
I
the
will,
city.
is the city staff in, tomorrow or no? Do you have?
If you can hang out for 5 minutes after the meeting, I can go.
Or why don't, here's the thing is, I will, go home and update the flyer with the new deadline, and I can email it.
Okay.
And then,
I can print them out on Monday.
Put them at Rancho, put them at Grand Park, hopefully. And then, downtown.
Jen, he said he'd print them on Monday.
Okay, yeah, awesome.
okay. So, let me just write myself a note. All right, okay. It's at 6:30, we're gonna try and be out of here. Agenda item number 5, community art engagement. Before we go into this, do we have any comments from the public? Public says no. Okay. Do we have an update from ours?
We have an update, Jenna.
Yeah.
We have a date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. July 8th.
Does that work, John? You sent an email that, you sent an email that July 8th, it was booked, right?
No. So July 8th, the weekend of July 8th is the Art and Wine Festival. So parking will be tight, but I think it should be okay.
We might want to pick a different.
Oh, okay. What do we think?
Sorry, I only found out that Art and Wine.
You know, it is.
What time is your event?
We haven't discussed that. I think we were thinking afternoon, right?
Yeah, kind of like what we did last time, which would be like one to
Because if you were gonna do it in the morning, it'd be okay, because they don't usually start coming out until like noon. So,
We could do it in the morning, kind of like a precursor to Art and Wine.
and kind of pick a pot and then go.
I like that idea.
No, like
Yeah,
10. Yeah,
Can we,
10 to 1.
can we get the location?
It's already booked.
Is it booked for the whole day? Okay.
Why not? Yeah, do in the morning.
This is the, aren't you on this subcommittee? Okay. This is for our community engagement event. It's we're painting flower pots.
Right.
And it's gonna be in the community center.
So people can do that and then they can,
Yeah.
walk over.
Yeah, they'll have parking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get a parking spot, paint a pot, park,
Yeah.
paint a pot, go drink wine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
What time's Art and Wine?
I don't know if you've noticed, but usually those people don't show up until like noon.
I think it usually starts at 10.
Wine festival?
Yeah,
Oh.
because I used to go early just to beat the heat, because that weekend is always pretty warm. It's also the, Clay and Glass Festival in Palo Alto, they're always the same weekends. It's, it's the hottest, usually the hottest weekend of the year, except for September 8th when we had our farmer's market thing. That's very hot.
What do you think?
So.
It was really tough to get a date.
Yeah.
I mean, on Saturdays, because the community center is very popular now.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's a great thing. And thank you, John, for tracking it down, bearing with all our email back and forth. But do you think that we should maybe try to pick a date now or decide on a date for the fall? So that we can preserve it now?
Yeah.
So what would the commission be inclined to do in terms of, doing another event in the fall, and which month? We could tie it to Halloween, we could tie it to, probably not Thanksgiving, because everyone gets tied up then.
I like the idea of movie. It's a bit creative.
Halloween, yeah.
Yeah. Something October.
Yeah.
Want to put
Like like a couple weeks before Halloween,
maybe
because
the first
the
weekend?
week before Halloween gets very busy for parents because they got the parties and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like maybe the second week in October.
Halloween is on a Tuesday.
Maybe the 7th or the 14th? Whatever day is available.
There we go.
Okay, this is October 1.
So if you
Halloween
the 7th or the 14th, if you're available.
Yeah, I like the idea of the 14th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah. October 14th. Is there, so I'm just thinking about like painting the pots, going back to our event in July. Do you think that we could offer people to leave their pots there and then
I
pick
was
them
gonna
up so they can
suggest-
dry? Like, they're not walking around with like wet paint?
That or you don't want them also like putting it in their car and,
Yeah.
roasting.
Is that just something we should work out with the community center?
You can't put it in the trunk.
It'll be wet.
Well, it's gonna be wet paint, yeah.
Some people bring newspaper when they go to something like that, so they can protect their car.
We could raid the newspaper
We can
bins.
just have the town crier, since, yeah.
We can raid the newspaper things. I raid them all the time.
Maybe they leave their wet pot there, they go get lunch or something, then come back and pick up their pot.
Yeah.
Well, but who's gonna be, is the community center actually gonna be open afterwards? Because we,
I would suggest the subcommittee work that out with
Okay.
staff.
and I was also gonna mention on our previous agenda item, should I tell Mary Jo that we're not gonna be installing next week, or do you want
I
to?
can let her know.
Perfect. All right, moving right along. All right, agenda item number 6, unless we have any other comments about that, no, okay. Art at City Hall, before we discuss this, public, since you're straight ahead, looking at you, do you have any comments? Thank you, public. All right, we are, sitting in City Hall, and unlike any other meeting we've had as a group, we are physically here and we can look around. John and I did a tour of our extensive council chambers about a month ago, give or take, looking for opportunities for art. Should we take a quick,
Yeah, well, so maybe some introduction for the new, those who never, or have, this is your first time meeting with the commission in the council chambers. We used to have along this wall, we would rotate artwork. But that was before we redid the room, and the walls back then had wood, they were wood. They had wood planks along them. These walls now these are the acoustical, well, no, they're acoustical panels. So we can't hang anything on these walls anymore. So that was kind of, I think the impetus behind this was, we used to be able to, and we had 3 or 4 successful exhibits that we put up. And so the idea are there other opportunities for rotating artwork here at City Hall?
John, I took a quick tour of, as I said, our extensive city council chambers, and we found a couple spots. If I can ask everyone to we'll take a road trip here. Is that okay while we're being taped?
I'm gonna bring my laptop and I will turn the.
You need your GoPro.
Now the public.
Sorry, I'm always sticking my nose into things. Actually, what would work, because of how slick that wall is, what would work really well are the command hooks.
But you don't want something hanging on it, right?
You know what we could do is we could have hooks in the ceiling perhaps and hang like banners.
the point, they're acoustic walls, you can't put something on the wall.
Ah,
You
okay,
have the
it's
wall
not
acoustic.
It's the puncturing.
No, it's not even that, it's because
Right, it's not the
the-
puncturing,
the-
it's the,
The way the sound hits it.
Yeah.
So you can't interfere with the.
It's not
The
the
trunk.
hook, it's the actual item.
Well, yeah, I guess you don't want to
Yeah.
block.
Whatever's up against the wall.
Okay.
What do they call that?
So the cardboard that they have up there shouldn't actually
No,
be there.
it shouldn't. And I'm.
No.
I don't mean to be rude to you, I'm just saying that if you really, I know people who have acoustic walls and they don't want anything touching their
We
walls.
do have acoustics that are, like the National House and the Hampton Inn. All right, so, John, you will, remind me if the missing spots that you and I looked at prior.
I think we want to go that way,
But we looked at, I suggested we could put something, there's this little alcove right here. It seems like a,
You can't see anything.
nobody can really see it, but there is this wall right here. It would be nice, maybe a little nature photo or painting or something like that. This obviously is ADA compliant, and we have to.
What about like the border? Oh, I don't know if it's too narrow, but like where the exit sign is and then.
That's probably acoustic.
No, the gray part is, the white part above is not.
Yeah.
So the gray part is acoustical.
Oh, the gray part is
The white
acoustic.
part is just drywall.
Another option, the Palo Alto Art Center, some of the windows they have art, from outside looking in, they have, it's probably vinyl or some kind of, art that's been stuck with stickers on the windows, so that's an option.
I'm sure the architect would have a fit if they knew we were gonna do any of that kind of thing.
They got their check and I'm sure it's been cashed already, so.
Instead of doing like prints or something, what about something like a sculpture?
Yeah.
Well, we will now continue our tour of
Okay.
our extensive city council chambers. We're gonna head up for the door.
Call for stained glass.
We're gonna go out.
Is it cold?
But I think you said that.
Yeah,
City
the
council
city
picture.
council portrait will go there.
That's wonderful. I bet you don't get to do this very often, John.
It's quite all right.
If anyone dials in, they're gonna see.
There's a framed photos of the city council members.
Oh, where are they?
It's getting framed.
Oh.
So, John had pointed out to me that we have, I believe it's this spot right here from there. Here.
Yeah, it's actually down there.
Sculpture, but we do have a sculpture right there.
Yeah, there's also this side over
There's
here.
this side here. Or, this might be a little cluttered. My idea also is I would love to put, something on the, stairs. And apparently it is ADA compliant, you can do the ramp as well. But there are, I think it was 2 months ago, I showed some examples of, stairs that have been done, you can make it colorful. I think, people tripping over the Public Arts Commission's work as they sashay into the city council chambers
statement. Yeah.
would be good. But I'm gonna ask if people want, that we maybe create a subcommittee to look at some ideas and, come back with some possibilities and then see what we should. Okay, it's cold back in and John's arms are getting tired. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
I'm only gonna be here for a little while. You guys are gonna be on this commission longer, and don't you want every time you come into the council chambers to see a little bit of Port Arthur?
Where there is a piece of view.
Well, you know, if I end up commissioning someone, to do something, I don't know if it's gonna be done during the tenure, so.
Okay.
Thank you for closing it. It's getting a little cold. So, John, do I need to make a motion to form a potential subcommittee or a subcommittee?
No, I think the commission could just give direction and then you could choose who wants to be on it.
Is it a reasonable idea? Do people like the idea?
I kind of like the idea, yeah. I'd be on the committee.
All right. I'll be on the committee too. Do I hear a third? I know Jen is all.
I'll do it.
All right.
I
Yeah.
just feel like I'm on all the committees. I want to give someone else those opportunities.
I'll send an email out to try and start things. Okay. It is 6:05 and we're almost done. John, do you have any informational items? for us?
So the only informational item I have, last Tuesday, the city council was going to meet to get an update on return to in-person meetings. We talked a little bit earlier about, or I think we talked, or maybe I sent emails about currently commissioners are not allowed to participate via teleconference, which is why Donna is not here. She is traveling. The state law and the Brown Act says that commissioners can participate by teleconference. The council approved commission handbook says that they cannot. One of the things that we were going to ask them to consider is removing that restriction to allow commissioners to teleconference. Obviously, the council meeting was canceled And so that item will be before the council next Tuesday, presuming that we have power.
It's another storm is coming in on Tuesday.
So, now if the council does allow commissioners to teleconference, there are restrictions around it, including that you have to post, your location as part of the agenda. And if members of the public want to participate, they are allowed to, so, where you are at. So, if you are gonna participate at home, in theory, you would have to open your home up to anybody who.
What?
There are some exceptions which get very, very complicated, but, primarily under the Brown Act, all teleconference locations are open to the public. So, that's the update on that. My hope is that the council does say, yes, commissioners can teleconference, but, do so reasonably.
Not at a board.
Well, and so, yeah, so that will be on Tuesday.
Was there some restriction on where, that you had to be in the city or something?
Not necessarily, yeah. It gets a little complicated. Basically, a majority of the commission has to be in the city.
Okay.
But the presumption is that everybody will be here unless, they're traveling or, there's an illness or underlying health condition, things like that, right? So the presumption is that the majority of the commission will be in person. I don't want to be lonely.
We don't want you to do that. Any, information about, I believe T2 is still missing a label, a sign.
Yeah, we're working on it. There's several that need them still.
Yeah, there's several.
And do we have, an update on money, because it makes the world go round? Have we gotten any more funds?
Not since the last time that.
And then, you and I talked approximately how much do we have?
So, as of June 30th, there was just under $500,000. The council appropriated, I think it was 130,000 for this year for the various projects as recommended by the commission. We have not spent nearly that much, obviously. We do have some of it set aside for the maintenance of the sculptures.
Right.
And then obviously the sculptures that do get installed as part of the Art Without Walls, those will have the stipend. So whatever the math is on all of that.
Anyone else have a?
Good thing is we won't be over budget, so we won't get in trouble with the financial commission.
Yeah. We have a budget and I remember when we had a budget of either 10K a year, or we had one year where they completely pulled our budget. Anything else, John? Okay. Any commissioner reports or comments? Okay. Potential future agenda items. Does anyone have? Okay. Well, that takes us to our favorite agenda item, which is adjournment. So it's 6:10 p.m. and the meeting is adjourned and back to your regular schedule evening.